Good morning. Well, back to the Triton. This morning I flushed out the fuel tank and refitted it. How Triton tanks fit is they weigh nothing and they're pretty much flat on the bottom. This one's obviously aluminium. And then they use these very cool anti-vibration bungs that you wrap around the frame and you balance them on. In fact, if you look under here, you'll see some pipe wrap that does most of the heavy lifting, but let's skim over that briefly. And these are great. If you remember, the 600 phasers had them on their tanks, so Yamaha reinvented them in about 1995. So the tank's back on, seats on. We know the electric works because we tried all that yesterday. And then this morning I fitted new fuel pipes, and these are the ones that came off, which you have to cut off. And they are really so hard that you can possibly hear them cracking as they go on. The fuel just kills them, basically. So I fitted new 5/16 nitrile pipes, clipped at the top, not at the bottom yet, because obviously I might need to take them off again. But we'll see how it works. I think the plan is, if I've got time later, we'll stick some fuel in and then see if we can get some sort of response from the engine when I kick it over. And if not, I'll pull the carbs apart. I will do that anyway, but I'm sort of in a hurry to see if it actually get it fired up. But first, I've got to go and do something today, because tomorrow we've got our Tiddler run. And this is my unrestored Francis Barnett, which I've owned for a few years now. And having not ridden that for, I'll be honest, about 10 months, I took it out of the garage and it started third kick. So much for British crap, eh? Anyway, see you later. Also, before we start the bike up, we're going to drain out the old oil and flush the tank. This is the filter thing that comes out. I'm pleased to say there was no lumps of metal in there, which is always a good sign. It gives me hope that this engine is indeed built properly. So the oil's draining. I'll be filling it up with some classic 2050, and once I flush the tank out. So let's catch up. And just like that, we move on to the carburetors. This is an Amel Mark II carb. Nice thing. Big, solid, modern looking. It's also not been run for ages, so it's completely gummed up. I've had it running the bike, but low throttle response is terrible because the pilot jet circuit is blocked. So this is going in the ultrasonic bath. So I've undone the starting plunger, and the slide is hanging out there. There's not much really to go wrong with those in theory. So you check the needles are in the right place, and then you just put it back together again. Also check the rubber inlet manifold to make sure it's not cracked or leaking. And obviously I've made up new fuel pipes. So into the ultrasonic bath you go. This is the float bowl off the carb, and if you look carefully, this is the main jet, which, you know, in an ideal world would be nice and shiny, but it's been dry for a long time. But what you can't have is a complete lack of hole that is completely gummed up. No wonder it's not working properly. Right, this is definitely going in the cleaner now. Oh, here's the float bowl. Here's the float bowl. There's little jets inside there and all that kind of stuff as well. There's your float going up and down. That's a crappy old nylon one. I'll change it in due course. But yeah, that's going in as well. There's a long way to go, but we've made a start.